Last weekend, a few of the rejects and I went to our first wargame show in over 20 months. As usual, I shot hundreds of pictures, but also some video, so here's a short report from the show. Selwg announced in 2019 that it would be moving from the Crystal Palace to Lee Valley. Now, I always liked the old venue in South London, but it was in many ways, like other sports venues, an incongruous place for middle-aged, overweight wargamers to be visiting. Over the years, it has often felt as if the old venue had set an absolute limit on the size of the show. The lower basketball courts and the upper mezzanine floor were always fully occupied, and there seemed little scope for expansion. But as one of my friends put it, that also gave the show a unique quirkiness and an interesting place to explore on show days. The new venue continues the tradition of sports facilities being used for wargame shows. However, this venue is bigger, certainly has better lighting, and I think maybe slightly better acoustics. Certainly there seemed to be more room to expand the show here in the future. The area where the Bring and Buy was, for example, wasn't being fully utilised, and there had been plenty of room for more traders in future shows. Don't get me wrong, the new venue had a few teething problems. For instance, the inside caterers was still closed, presumably because of COVID, and the outside catering van got nicked, so there was no breakfast, and they had to call in a last-minute replacements for the lunch vans. But hopefully this is a one-off, and next year things will run a lot more smoothly. The show seemed to be well attended at first, but it did quieten down after lunch, and in the afternoon there really didn't seem to be that many punters walking between the stalls. I heard, and I can't verify this, that the organisers had about 500 visitors, which seems very modest indeed, and I hope this is an anomaly, partly due to COVID, partly due to the change of venue, and that things will get back to a more normal situation next year. All the traders that I spoke to said they had done okay, some better than okay, and the general sentiment was thank Crunchy for the internet, and that 2020 wasn't necessarily bad for their business. Worryingly though, 2021 has been a different story for a few of the traders who indicated the almost complete loss of their European business to private buyers. One trader went further and said he had lost between 20 to 30% of his turnover. He was working to replace this with bulk sales to European retailers, but he was a long way from making up the shortfall. So having blathered on for a few minutes about what I think about the show, let's have a look at some of the demo games that are on display, which after all is what you've really come to see. So I'm sure you've skipped forward to this part of the video and haven't listened to any of the rest of it, and quite rightly so. So here's my photographs from the show. I'll put some more pictures on my blog, Big Lee's Miniature Adventures. So when you finish watching this video, please nip over to my blog and have a look at the photos as well. So it's getting towards the end of the day, and I think the rejects were all a bit knackered. Our joints hurt and our feet hurt, but our pockets feel very much lighter. We've all spent quite a lot of money and had a thoroughly good time. All the traders have told me that they had a good time, good sales today, and a good period during lockdown, thankfully, so they've kept themselves going. Some good games today. Really enjoyed looking at some of the stuff out on display. Looking forward to some of the really bigger shows later in the year, but we've all enjoyed it. We've all spent a lot of money, which is what it's all about, and seen some really good games. So I like the venue, actually. It's very bright, plenty of room for expansion. There's a mezzanine floor here, so they can expand if they want to in future, and there's plenty of room down on the table, down where the tables and the traders are. Plenty of room there, so you're not crammed in. So I think definitely an improvement over Crystal Palace, and of course you haven't got that strong smell of chlorine and the hot stuffy atmosphere, so it's been a lot better. Actually, I'm hoping that people will take to the new venue, and I look forward to coming back next year.
You'll have to start it again, I think.